Um, Now a word about the goings on in the world today, which seem fairly dire. Um, Kiev is being surrounded by the Russian army, and a medieval siege is about to begin. The Russians, well, I like to call them, because I feel when you say the Russians, you're indicting the whole Russian race as opposed to just the followers, uh, earnest followers, and some duped Russians, Putniks, I like to call them personally. Um, Much like we did refer to Nazis as Nazis and Soviets or communists, not that we would be at war with the people, but we would be at war with who they had the um, unfortunate destiny for a moment to be led by very evil men or a very flawed ideology or philosophy. What is going to happen? What will happen? There's potentialities. The past is gone. The present is in motion. And the future can go in 2 or 3 directions. But it's not fixed in stone. Now, what does this mean? Worst case scenario, the Russians, let's call them Russians, surround Kiev and put it to siege, starving out much of the population. Um, Women and children need to eat. Elderly people who are trapped within the confines of Kiev. On the women and men who choose to battle it out street by street, war will take a heavy toll on the Russian army. An army whose soldiers, foot soldiers, are ambiguous about their role in conquering their fellow Slav cousins, the Ukrainians. What I believe will happen, well, what potentially could happen, worst case scenario, they surround Kiev, pound it into the ground, killing many, many, many civilians. They'll do this throughout all of the Ukrainian state until they believe, or Putin believes, that the Ukrainians will break, that their army will exhaust itself, um, with worry about their children and wives and parents, that they will give in to the Russians' demands, or Putin's demands, which would leave basically Ukrainians, excuse me, never good at pronouncing words, in a situation in which they will surrender, probably after the potential death of Zerinsky, his wife and children, perhaps the Klitschko brothers. They'll either be killed or captured or blown to bits. Without his charismatic relationship with them, his bond with his own people, those who are left in leadership positions in the state will sue for peace. And we, America, and the allies will acquiesce and treat it as a fait accompli. This will only encourage Vladimir Putin to go on a new adventure. His concept, which we think is mad, it's diabolic, but it's not mad. It's to restore the Russian state, the Soviet state, Greater Russia, a combination of what 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 would he be? A gangster state with aspects of the Soviet Union and Murder Incorporated, USA. What to do? If that happens, Ukrainians will lose. And he will go on to go after Lithuania, Estonia, no matter what our assurances are. America is not willing at this point to put some planes in the air to engage the the naval and air force and ground troops, boots on the ground. We've had 20 years of war. Our conventional forces would destroy the Russian army. Russian army basically is weak. Russian men properly motivated, as Hitler found out, is one of the greatest fighting soldiers in the world. But that is not what is happening, at least not now. They are mediocre fighters, the Russians, if not motivated properly. Anyway, I see that worst case scenario, and Vladimir Putin going on to the lesser states. In the meantime, China will be its own shenanigans, will supply the Russians with enough um, economic uh, support. And we will be called a bluff. What we should do, the second scenario, is sending in some air force. We'll wipe out the Ukrainians. Only need air superiority or air priority to defeat the Russian army and drive the Russian army out of its country. This will be a risky proposition. Two nuclear war powers have never fought each other, always using surrogates. But this time, if evil as manifested by Vladimir Putin is to be defeated, and this we must all accept that we all are at risk. We all are at risk at this moment. All our loved ones, our lives. But we must rescue these Ukrainians. It's like seeing a slaughter, criminal slaughter, because one of the states involved has its button on, its hand on the button. Or we'll let them murder those people. This should not be. Those are the two scenarios. We send in some troops, not even troops, advisors and planes, and or just provide the Ukrainians with planes, and they'll take the Russian Air Force out. Putin eventually, when the casualties pile up, the Russian people would overthrow him. Some part of his inner circle, the businessmen, blood that he's made deals with, will turn on him. And he will be overthrown within a year of this gambling adventure he's on. Everyone. This is Nostravini. This is logical deduction with a little bit of perception, a deeper perception almost. Hopefully the second road will be taken. If not, evil will win, at least in that little part of the world. And evil, left unchecked, is like a cancer. The gambling of the leadership of China and Russia and Iran and North Korea will grow. If Vladimir Putin can get away with this, there's no stopping evil. Not that we're good, I would say an imperfect good. Like the people. Our system is good to hold certain types in check. But now it's being put to the ultimate test. Anyway, this is a serious mood I'm in. I hope this is effective in a certain way, a little way at least. Oh, gotta keep on looking at the camera. Hope it's not too inept.